Welcome to another edition of Fire Your MD Now. Check out the website, fireyourmdnow.com, 24/7, where you can purchase books, audio CDs, check out the event schedule, subscribe to my online health recovery program for the modest amount of $17 a month. It'll be the best $17 you ever spent. You can also sign up for my free monthly newsletter. That's free. When you sign up for the free newsletter, I automatically send you for free a copy of the Good Food, Bad Food list and a little video that I produce that explains why wheat, barley, rye, and oats will kill you. Because remember, it ain't what you know that'll hurt you. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. Well, talking about things that you know for sure that just ain't so, or things that the MDs know for sure that just ain't so. Let's talk about the whole concept of autoimmunity, right? Autoimmunity. There are two scapegoats that the MDs use for their complete incompetence at the table of pathophysiology. Because the MD, now, I just check this out. I mean, you know, facts are a stubborn thing, right? For the last 100 years, chronic diseases are getting worse. And the MDs can't cure a darn thing. They can't cure it. They can't cure arthritis. They can't cure heartburn. They can't even cure heartburn, for goodness sake. They manage symptoms with drugs, right? And because they're completely clueless about what to do to cure chronic disease, as chronic diseases get worse, because of their incompetence and, you know, what their perspective that they bring to the table, the perspective on healing that MDs are trained in is called reductionism. It's allopathic reductionism. MDs are not trained in medicine. They're trained in allopathic reductionism. I'm trained in naturopathic holism. All right? There's a difference. I mean, it's like the same difference between Democrats and Republicans. There's a difference. There's a difference between Buddhists and Christians. There's a difference. Well, there's a difference between allopathic reductionism, which is what your MD is trained in, and naturopathic holism, which is what I'm trained in. They're completely opposite, polar opposites, as a matter of fact. But to the point, allopathic reductionism, which is what MDs are trained in, is by definition completely incapable of offering solutions for chronic disease. So what they do instead of curing things is they're trained in how to manage things with drugs. So they don't cure the arthritis or the heartburn or the type 2 diabetes or the high blood pressure, but they manage them with drugs until the drugs stop working, and then you need a new drug or they need to increase the dose or your eye falls out, right? Whatever. This is what they do. Now, because they are colorblind art critics in this regard, they don't know that they're colorblind, but they are colorblind. Everybody else can see the full color picture, but they can't. They misinterpret things all of the time, and in order to compensate for their egregious failures with our health, because, you know, while they've been driving the bus of medicine, high blood pressure is going up, obesity is going up, Alzheimer's is going up, autism is going up, chronic disease is going up, high blood pressure, kidney disease, heart disease. Well, heart disease actually has leveled out, but just as many people get heart disease now as they ever did. The MDs are good now at helping you recover from a heart attack. So now, because of the MD care, instead of dying from your first heart attack, you die from your fourth. So, you know, they give you a couple of extra years in which you're heavily medicated, can't even remember your children's names. Hurts to move, it hurts to breathe. Brought to you by Bus Driver MD. You know, I'm waxing prosaic here. The fact of the matter is, with autoimmunity, there are two scapegoats that the MDs use in order to compensate for their unbelievable treatment failures. One scapegoat is the genetic scapegoat. Whenever MDs come up against something that they just can't explain, or they're too embarrassed to admit that they just can't get a handle on it, they, instead of blaming themselves, they blame you. Oh, you have a bad gene. They've been telling African Americans this for 50 years. Oh, those black people, the reason that they have greater amounts of heart disease, greater amounts of high blood pressure, greater amounts of, chronic illness, shorter life expectancies is because of some mysterious black gene. Of course, they won't tell you what the gene is, but they'll tell you it's because of a mysterious black gene, and they're full of crap. There is no black gene. So they blame things on genetics all of the time when really the problem is with their short-sightedness. They're colorblind, but they don't know it. We fix the things that the MDs can't fix. We fix them all of the time. And the other scapegoat is this whole concept of autoimmunity. Scleroderma. There's a caller on the line waiting to talk to me about scleroderma, right? Scleroderma, the MDs will tell you, is an autoimmune disease where for some mysterious reason your body builds antibodies and starts attacking the skin and the connective tissue. And then if it gets really bad, your body will start to attack its internal organs too. Oh my God, what's going on? The body's attacking itself. What? Wait a minute. Thyroid disease, right? There's a type of thyroid disease that's supposedly an autoimmune disease, right? There's all kinds of things. Lupus, the MDs will tell you, is an autoimmune disease. And the reason that they tell you these things are autoimmune disease is because they're colorblind art critics and because they have no intellectual integrity. MDs are some of the most cowardly people I have ever met in my life because they never, ever, ever question what they've been taught. They never do it. They just all fall in line right behind each other like Nazis, jackbooted thugs, and they all incant and repeat the party line, whatever it is. Max Planck, a very famous physicist, one of my my favorite quotes of Max Planck's is science progresses one funeral at a time, which means scientists tend to be the most closed-minded, pig-headed people you're going to meet. The tendency of a scientist is not to question. There's only very few scientists that are actually actively engaged with the questioning process every day. Theoretical physicists are among the few. It's their job to question the nature of reality, to posit theories and then try to prove them, right? It's a pretty progressive science. But all science is filled with intellectual inertia. And the king of the scientific community of intellectual inertia is the allopathic, reductionistic medical field. MDs, someone tells the MD when he's in school that this is an autoimmune disease, and without doing any research, without doing any questioning, without even thinking it through in a common sense fashion, they just accept it. And now you've got 10,000 MDs being turned out every year who all believe the same thing, and it becomes reality by consensus. Oh, those blacks, they have greater rates of heart disease because they have a bad gene. Well, no, they don't. Oh, that thyroid problem, that Sjogren's syndrome, that lupus, that scleroderma, those are all autoimmune diseases. Your body is attacking itself. Well, no, it's not. Our take on autoimmunity, is a better take on autoimmunity. And when you've done 26,000 autopsies like Dr. Wallach, my colleague Dr. Wallach, you start to get a clue. Here's how it goes. Your body starts to break down because it has lost nutrients. You are not getting the nutrients that your body needs to keep itself healthy from eating from the 4 food groups. As a matter of fact, if you're eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, oil in a bottle, fried food, red meat cooked well done, nitrates, meat that has nitrates as preservatives in it, and or the skins of baked potatoes, yams or sweet potatoes, and if you're washing down a meal with a carbonated beverage like a Coke or a sparkling water or a seltzer or champagne or beer, you are hurting yourself every time that you eat. So everybody is undernutrified, and everybody is eating a lion's share of the wrong food all of the time, so everybody's body is under assault. And it is only a matter of time, under these circumstances, that tissue in the body starts to break down from fundamental lack of nutrition and fundamental, constant aggravation every day, all the time. For goodness sake, if you punched yourself in the arm in the same place 3 times a day for 20 years, you'd have a giant bruise on your arm, wouldn't you? Well, when you eat all the wrong food all the time, tissue in the body starts to break down. So, your thyroid starts to break down. It actually starts to break down and decay, and this is not good. It is not good to have decaying, dying tissue in the body. So when the body sees decaying and dying tissue, it generates antibodies that try to chew it up. Get rid of it. Get it the heck out of there. You know, just like when, maggots and bugs are found on, dead animals in the road. Why is that? Because nature's cleaning it up. It's cleaning out the dead tissue. It's getting rid of it. Well, the same thing happens inside the body. Your body starts to chew itself up. Why is it chewing itself up? It's not really chewing itself up. It's attempting to chew the dead tissue up. But the MDs come late to the party. They never see the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 6 year, 10 year, 20 year, 30 year low-grade inflammation, low-grade tissue destruction that was leading up to the Sjogren's syndrome or the scleroderma. They never see that. They only come in, they come late to the party. They only see the full-blown manifestation of this, everything that happened after the last straw broke that camel's back. So now there's rampant inflammation in the body, rampant infection in the body, rampant tissue destruction in the body. Tissue destruction is a better word than infection. And the body attempts to fix this, to clean house. It generates antibodies. So the MDs see the antibodies, and they think it's the antibody that causes the disease, when the antibody is the result of the disease. Again, they get it wrong. 100% of the time they get it wrong. Well, not 100% of the time, but most of the time they get it wrong. Which is one more reason why the best thing that anybody can possibly do for their health is to fire their MD. They're the wrong people for the job, ladies and gentlemen. Fire your MD now. Change your diet. Take your nutritional supplements. Live long and prosper. Question authority, ladies and gentlemen. That's my advice. Question authority. You don't have to be a knucklehead about it. Just ask reasonable questions. And, this whole autoimmune thing, it doesn't even make sense from a genetic point of view or from an evolutionary point of view or from a human development point of view, right? Because the weakest members of the herd are, if the whole genetic thing is correct, they're supposed to be weaned out. We've been evolving for thousands of years, so you would assume that the people with the autoimmune genes, the people with the breast cancer genes, the people with the autism genes, the people with all of the bad black genes, they should all be dead by now. Should have been dead hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. Those people should have been culled from the herd if this whole genetic autoimmune thing was correct. But it's not, because the MDs have their heads up there, you know what. Honest to God, they do. The only thing that they're good for is surgery and trauma care. That's it. They don't practice medicine, for goodness sake. They stopped rational thought 100 years ago. They practice disease management through the application of synthetic pharmaceutical drugs. That's what they do. Disease management through the application of synthetic pharmaceutical drugs and surgery. Surgery is the end game. Manage the problem with the drug until it's so bad that you have to cut something out. Now, who does this benefit? It benefits them. Benefits the hospitals. I don't think that a lot of MDs get into this because they're sociopaths or money-grubbing, nincompoops. But they get into it, hoping that they're going to help people, and then they get inculcated into this particular mindset, this particular worldview, and they're too damn cowardly to stand up and question authority. They can't do it. It becomes reality by consensus. And so, even though they know that there's something wrong with it, they keep doing it because they're too heavily invested in it to let it go. There's no way an MD is going to give up his medical license after, 16 years of work to get it. There's no way. And here we are. This is why we recommend you, don't try to fight them. Just don't use them. Stop using them, for goodness sake, unless you're happy with them. If you're happy with them, go for it. But they've got you by the short and curlies, because when most people consider canceling their medical insurance, they're horrified. They just can't bring themselves to do it. Oh, I can't do that. That's too much, Dr. Glidden. I can't do that. I need my medical insurance. I'm going to need my rat poison. I'm going to need my horse hormone. I'm going to need that autoimmunity diagnosis. I'm going to need that high-tech stuff someday. I know it. I know it. I know it. I just can't part with it. Well, they've got you. that's how you feel, then you are deeply embedded in the matrix, my friend, and you're going to die, sucker. So what we recommend, cancel your comprehensive medical insurance. Buy catastrophic medical insurance instead, if you even want to do that. Take your vitamins and minerals, clean up your diet. That's real insurance. Real insurance is stopping the consumption of the food that hurts you, giving your body all of the raw materials that it needs to support its health every day, and making sure you're getting at least 20,000 ORAC points of antioxidants a day. That's it. If you do those 3 simple things, you're not going to need a doctor. You're just not going to, because your body knows how to fix itself. Your body wants to fix itself. Most of the time, the only thing your body needs is those things, and it'll fix itself. But, we don't know this, and so we grope around blindly in the dark, stumbling over ourselves and rattling our prescription medicines and our high-priced insurance policies to celebrate our health. Quite frankly, we need our heads examined. Now, I said I was going to take calls in this section, and I guess I misspoke because there's only a minute and a half left. We're coming up against a hard break. So hang tight, Frankie Lackey and Janet and John. I'm going to be talking to all 3 of you, I promise, in the next segment, which starts in about 3 minutes. So hang tight, guys. I'm going to be right here with you. Folks, if you're listening to the podcast after the live broadcast and would like help from a real, living, breathing human being, someone who has, in fact, fired their MD, and someone who has, in fact, cornered a clue, gotten a clue about science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, give my friendly office staff a call. That number, 855-347-3696. It's toll-free, 855-347-3696. And, of course, I am available 24/7 on the World Wide Web. Fire Your MD Now is the website, and to give me a call on the live program Monday through Friday, 4 to 5 Central, 5 to 6 Eastern Time, and 2 to 3 Pacific, 3 to 4 Mountain Time. How about that? I got it right. That number, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. Take a walk on the wild side, ladies and gentlemen. Fire your MD now, and you are up to bat. What's going on, Frankie?
Syndrome variety, and wants to know what can she do to get on the other side of this.
Okay, so the MDs would have her think that it's an autoimmune disease and that she's screwed and that she's going to have to take immune suppressant drugs, and they're full of crap. So from our point of view, scleroderma is a functional breakdown of connective tissue and skin in the body. Basically, her body has run out of the raw materials that it needs to keep the skin and connective tissue healthy, and she is unwittingly eating food that's hurting herself every time she eats it. So the program then is twofold. Number 1, she needs to stop eating food that's coming up the works. So she needs to eliminate our 10 bad foods, all right? Stop eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, oil in a bottle. You should know the list if you're a longevity guy. Number 1. Number 2, you said, Frankie, she's what, 120 pounds?
That's correct.
All right, so per month it would be 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, 2 bottles, I'd give her 3 bottles of selenium, 3 bottles of ultimate selenium, 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, 3 ultimate selenium, 2 boxes of triple treat chocolate a month, and at 120 pounds, that's 360. All right, so 1 bottle of glucogel at the 240 count, 1 bottle of glucogel at the 120 count, and 1 extra bottle of EFA plus, all right? So that's 1 EFA plus, 1 glucogel 120, 1 glucogel 240, 3 ultimate selenium, and 1 anti-aging healthy start pack. And for the icing on the cake, for the cherry on the top, triple treat chocolate, plus complete avoidance of all 10 bad foods. Now, oftentimes with people that have this type of a condition, after they've been on the products for 3 months, I would recommend that they do the 5-day cleanse. So do the products for 3 months, do the diet for 3 months, and then anytime after the 3rd month, do the 5-day cleanse. And when they do the 5-day cleanse, see if you can find, or see if they can find, a certified colon hydrotherapist, in their town. And my recommendation is you get one colonic irrigation 3 times on 3 separate days during the 5-day cleanse, and preferably on day 2, 3, and 4, right? So on days 2, 3, and 4 of the 5-day cleanse, you get a colonic, and that's a really good way to kind of round things out and get her body started in the right direction. But she needs to be counseled, Frankie, that if she does not change her diet, this is not going to work. We do 2 things here, and they're connected. You know, we're attempting to fill up a tank with nutrients, so to speak. And if she's continuing to eat the 10 bad foods, it's going to be like we're trying to pour nutrients into a leaky bucket. And it's just going to be a fool's errand. We're going to take 2 steps forward and 2 steps backward, not really going to get very far very fast. So clean the diet up, take those nutritional supplements, do the 5-day cleanse, live long and prosper, Frankie Lackey. You're the man down there in Nashville. Keep up the good work. Janet is calling from Georgia. I think if she's still on the line. Janet, thanks for calling. You are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden. I'm here.
What's going on, Janet?
Well, I have a 16-year-old who lost her grandfather early this year, and then about 2 months later, her best friend was killed in a car accident.
Ouch.
Yeah, and she's been telling me that she's not very happy.
Yeah.
So, I'm not shocked, but what can we do nutritionally to support her?
Well, you know, there's a lot that's going on here, and you know, situations like this speak to the greater concept of, you know, life, right? I mean, this is just life, and with this girl, it's life in spades. When things like this happen to people, often they are prompted to search for answers to questions that they didn't even know they had before, you know, like, what's the nature of life? Where did we come from? Where are we going? What the heck is going on here, right? Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, events like this can really help people to get in touch or even start on a spiritual journey, right? To figure out their relationship with the divine and the greater, you know, the big questions in life, right? So, you know, I would tell her, or, you know, my counsel to her would be, you know, that, look, it's okay to have questions about things like this. It's okay to, you know, start us looking for spiritual answers. I mean, Oprah's doing a whole thing right now where she's on, this is Oprah's big thing right now, right? It's helping people kind of discover their own spiritual path, and so this might be something that you can hold her hand during, and that's really what she needs more than anything else. Now, having said that, life is a great big bowl of stress, and it is. You know, there's stress like this, emotional stress. There's financial stress. There's political stress. There's weather. There's aging. There's viruses and germs and crap in the air, crap in the water, crap in the food. I mean, it's stress all the time, man. Now, we can't do very much to avoid the stress of life, but we can strengthen the body so that it can handle it appropriately. So outside of, you know, cleaning up her diet, giving her the 10, having her stay away from the 10 bad foods, and giving her the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for her body weight every day, plus a little extra selenium. The only extra thing that I would recommend would be the D stress. D like David stress. It's the Longevity's B complex. And when you're experiencing emotional stress of this nature, you know, this is like emotional / intellectual / existential stress, right? I mean, this cuts right to the quick. Your body burns through B vitamins rapidly. So I would give her the D-stress plus the Healthy Start Pack plus the selenium. And that's how I would handle that. Now, here's an interesting little anecdote. And when I tell you this, all the homeopaths that are listening are going to cringe in their seats, because homeopathy is a system of medicine that is extremely effective in helping people handle emotional stress like this. It's a very good medicine for people that are up against emotional and existential stress, like when somebody dies. However, homeopathic medicines are only supposed to be prescribed individually, never generically. You know, we give vitamins generically, and it's verboten to give homeopathic generically unless it's, an infectious disease like influenza. Having said that, the homeopathic medicines are inexpensive and they're safe, and they can't really hurt you if you take them the way that I'm going to tell you. They can't hurt you at all if you take them the way that I'm going to tell you, and we might get lucky, and it might help this child. So there is a homeopathic medicine that is recommended more often than not to help people handle the stress of death. And the name of that homeopathic medicine is Natrum muriaticum. You spell that N like Nancy, A, T like Thomas, R like Roger, U, M like Mary, Natrum. Second word, muriaticum, M like Mary, U, R like Robert, I, A, T like Thomas, I, C, U, M like Mary, Natrum muriaticum. Get it in the 1M strength, Natrum muriaticum, 1M, M like Mary. And I would counsel this child to take 2 pellets of Natrum muriaticum once a day for 7 days. 2 pellets of Natrum muriaticum orally. Pop them in your mouth, suck on them like a cough drop, once a day for 7 days in a row. And that can help often to, help people cope with this particular type of stress when it's related to the death of people that are near and dear to them. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right, Janet, thanks for calling. You remember, you are the last best hope for people in your community to live a long, healthy, and wealthy life. So get out there, keep enrolling people in what we're doing, and keep up the good work. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much for the call. John, we have 4 minutes left in this segment. John is calling from Colorado with a big problem here. John, welcome aboard.
It's a big problem, Dr. Glidden. Hi, I'm a longevity distributor, and I love the stuff, and I love your show, too. I'm trying to help out a couple of kids in tragic circumstances, and I'll give you the most important one first. This is a 2-year-old boy. His family lives on a ranch, has a pond with a bunch of ducks in it. And one time this boy managed to slip away from his mom, and he got inside the pen where the pond is, and he fell face down into the water. He nearly drowned. And he was medevaced to a hospital, and in the last 6 weeks, he's been in a coma in the hospital. And so he's not able to swallow. He's not able to concentrate when you look at him. He's not able to look at you. And I'm wondering if there's something that can be done through his IV tube that might give this child some life and health again.
Well, there's a better thing to do because none of the nutritional supplements that we have are sterile. So you can't give them through an intravenous tube. You can give them through a feeding tube if he has a feeding tube, going into his stomach. But
yes, he does.
He does. All right. So the answer is yes. But here's a better thing. Here's what I would do. I would get the plant-derived minerals. Get the minerals, not the cherry mins, but the plant-derived minerals. All right. Put them in a spray bottle and spray them on his abdomen 3 or 4 times a day, and just let them soak in through the skin. Spray them on his abdomen 3 or 4 times a day. Let them soak in through the skin. And you don't know how much he weighs, do you?
I don't. No, he's a friend of mine, but I don't know how much he weighs.
All right. Give him a tablespoon of the plant minerals. 1 tablespoon per 50 pounds of body weight. And you want to round it up. So if he's 75 pounds, give him a 100-pound dose, okay? So that would be 1 tablespoon per 50 pounds of body weight per day of the plant-derived minerals, and you can put that right in the feeding tube. Remember, not the IV solution, in the feeding tube that goes into his stomach. You can give him the plant-derived minerals. So if you give him the minerals internally and externally on the skin, I have seen plant-derived minerals sprayed on the skin snap somebody right out of a coma. I've seen it. I don't know that it's going to happen, but if it were my kid, that's what I would do. So that's what you want to do for that, because 2/3 of the body's nutrient needs are minerals. 2/3. That's a big deal. And every single enzymatic process in the body needs a mineral in order to happen. And all of your brain waves, your central nervous system function, it all demands minerals. your central nervous system has more mineral needs than any other part of your body. And so when somebody has a central nervous system dysfunction like this, we go heavy with the minerals. And, it's tricky when kids are on a feeding tube because the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and some of the other nutrients can upset the apple cart if the absorption isn't correct. And you don't want to be giving the kid diarrhea, with a potential too strong of a dose of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. The nurses will get all freaked out. They'll think you're poisoning them. And so the best way to march in here is just with the plant-derived minerals. Give them to them internally and give it to them externally. And call me back, John, and let me know what happened either way. I keep track of this stuff. Thanks for calling, man. Now go out there and get them. Ladies, if you go over to your neighbor's house and you say, hey, I see you're suffering with arthritis. I know a therapeutic that's going to support and promote the health of your bones and joints. They're going to look at you like you have two heads. Who the heck are you? So, however, if you go over to your neighbor's house and say, look, I see you're suffering with arthritis. I know a doctor, a naturopathic doctor, a licensed naturopathic physician with 20 years of clinical experience who says you don't have to suffer with that. And if you lend them the CD, let the CD do the talking, then you will be much more effective at bringing people into the light, because all that we do here is we just speak the truth. And the truth has a particular ring to it. And most people are smart. Even if you don't have a very high IQ, most people have common sense. And, common sense is aware when somebody's BSing them, and common sense is aware when somebody's telling them the truth. So we tell people the truth. That's all we do. And then if what we say resonates with them, then we move them into action, and that's where you come in. So lend the CD. And then go back a couple days later, collect the CD, ask them what the heck they thought. And if it rang true to them, show them the Youngevity website, bring them to a local Youngevity event, bring them to one of my webinars, bring them to the radio show, bring them to a live local lecture the next time one happens. There's a lot of ways to show people what we do. There's stuff on YouTube right now. The Youngevity company has all kinds of videos that they produce, new videos every couple of months that show people firsthand what we are up to here, both from a health perspective and from a business perspective. So don't try to become the expert. Just take people to the expert. I'm telling you, it is easier than falling off a potato truck to work this business and to show people what we're up to, because all you do is hand out CDs. That's it. And it's just a numbers game. You remember that parable, right, from the New Testament? The sower had good seed. Yeah, we've got good seed, folks. We have good information. We have science-based, clinically verified therapeutics to support and promote the health of every major part of your body. We have remarkable testimonials. We have Dr. Wallach driving this bus. We have the best health seed in the entire freaking world. But, people are stupid, right? Some seed fell on rocky ground. Some seed the birds ate. Some seed started to grow and then the weeds choked it, right? So, but some seed fell on fertile ground. So in order to get one person into the light, you got to hand out 10, 15, 20 CDs. That's about the numbers. It's just a numbers game. Lend the CDs as quickly as you can. Lend the CDs as quickly as you can. We recommend 10 CDs a week. You lend them. You only need 10 CDs. You don't need to buy 5,000 CDs. Just buy 10. Lend them and get them back. And talk to one person a day about the business opportunity. Hey, listen, man, I'm starting a home-based business. I need to find a couple people to work with to make my business successful. I don't know if you're one of them, but I'd love to show you what I'm up to, and that way you can tell me whether you'd like to do it too. And if not, that's okay, but listen, maybe you'll know somebody who this would be a good fit, because you know what? I need to find a couple people to work with. And I'd love to show you what I'm up to. It's that simple. Have one of those conversations with somebody in your life once a day. Hand out 10 CDs a week. And in 1 year, you will not recognize your checkbook, and you will have helped thousands of people to recover their health. And ladies and gentlemen, it don't get any better than that. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, over and out. Check me out, fireyourmdnow.com.